Hi guys, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Okay, I've been trying to make this video for a couple days, and yeah, so I finally got it together. And I need to get this done because I have a new batch of journals that I'm starting, and I got to get all this stuff out of my way. Anyway, so I have been racking my brain trying to come up with a way to make one of those like trifold tags, And I mean, they're not like complicated or anything, but of course I have to make everything more complicated. And so, okay, here's what I was trying to do. And I think that I think I did pretty good. So I wanted to create like a tag type of thing that was also sort of like a self-contained little like, I don't know, micro journal, I guess, that would fit like into the pocket of another journal or something like that, or it could even be like clipped in on like a heavy page or something. Anyways, I was trying to make sure that it stayed relatively thin. And so my thinking was that this would be like what I'm going to call a multi-tag. So it's like multi-purpose. Sorry about the noise. So like multi-purpose or multiple, functions. Okay. So like I thought it would be great if it had a little pocket, and then it'd be great if it had like a little notepad and like some journaling space, and maybe even a place to put a couple of images if you wanted to add a couple pictures. So say you went to, a party on the beach or something, and, you just want to record kind of like that whole event. And, maybe you wanted to take this with you, so you could do that while you were there, or you don't want to take your whole journal if you're going to go, I don't know, sit in the bathroom and work on it. I don't know. But you know what I mean? So I just thought this would be kind of cool to record sort of like a whole event, or, just to have lots of different uses. So I added a couple of tags that I did not make from this file folder, but they fit in these pockets, so I used them because they were already done. But I've come up with sort of like a pattern or a template or whatever. That's ink. A template sort of way to cut these so that there's absolutely like, well, very, very minimal waste. Just a file folder. So yeah, so that's kind of what my thing is with these. So these are like trifold multi tags, and they're also a repurposing project for file folders, different types of file folders. And yeah, and I think that they turned out really cute. This is also a way for me to sort of show you some of Tracie Fox's new kits that she has in her shop. She did some fussy cutting pages, which are just amazing, and also some new labels. So new labels that have little like nature definitions on them. They're super, super cool, and I'm just like in love with them. I want to use them on everything. And she also did some that are related to like postal things and journaling words and things like that. So she's got like 5 or 6 new like kits in her shop. So anyway, so I didn't use the journal kit, but I'm definitely into using these types of things, the flowers and butterflies and stuff like that. So I'll just show you what was in that in any of those kits as I'm kind of looking through these. So anyway, so that's one. When I first started on these, I didn't do the little notebook. I did them a little different, and I did the pocket in the center, and then just, journaling space here, and here. This is an image from one of the kits, and then here's one of the little tags or the little labels. and then just, you know, did a wraparound tie closure. And then I've been just like nuts with eyelets lately and charms and stuff. So I added a little charm there and then one of my little tabs. So there's a butterfly from one of those kits. So anyway, so this is this was like my first sort of effort. And then it sort of evolved because I really did want to use the little notepad. Okay. Yeah, so I did. So you wind up with 2 of these out of 1 file folder. Okay. So that's kind of cool. And, you know, it's hard when you're putting something together and trying to think, okay, how am I going to be able to present this in an understandable way? And, you know, anyway, so I don't know. This might wind up being a couple of videos. But see, I like to use just like part of an image sometimes. I just think it looks nice when things aren't like totally centered and symmetrical. This silk stuff just like sheds all the time. I like it when things are sort of off center. So anyway, I don't know why I got off on that tangent. Oh, because I like the larger images, you know, and sometimes they're hard to find in books and magazines, and sometimes you want just like a more vintagey type of image too. And so just so you know, I printed these and the labels on this craft. Oh, this is another fussy cutting kit that she has, the mushrooms, toadstools, as they say. Anyway, so this is craft sticker paper. I don't have any white, so I ordered some, but I haven't gotten it yet. So, and I also need toner and ink, and there's so much stuff that I need to print. But I just wanted to show you, this is how the flowers look, just printed on white. And they're nice and vivid and amazing. So if you are looking for stuff to fussy cut, these are a pretty good option. And then this is the butterflies that I think is 7 pages in that butterfly kit. This is the butterflies printed on cream printer paper, just, you know, copy paper. So that's kind of how they turn out. They're sort of vintagey, you know, the tone of them. They're nice for, you know, vintage look. Anyway, okay. So these are the little multi-tags, and then these are, of course, labels from another kit that Tracie has in her shop. So, okay, so let's kind of put those aside, and then let me talk about how I cut these. So I'm gonna show you how I cut a regular file folder, and then also, like, I mean, it's the same, really. The green, or, you know, sometimes they're purple or orange or red, different, the hanging file folders. And then sometimes you find these also. These are like for medical billing and stuff like that. So these are legal size, or if you just find legal size file folders like the manila ones. So I'll just kind of show you how I cut those and why I cut them the way I cut them. And this is like the only thing that I have measured for like probably over a year. Anyway, okay, so regular file folder. These happen to have the tab that's the full length. So just, it doesn't matter, like, because that's probably gonna be our only waste anyway. If you have file folders that are like 3 or 5 or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. So the first cut is, I still have like threads of silk. So the first cut is going to be 9 inches, okay? Because these are 3 inches wide, and of course it's a tri-fold, so we want, you know, 9 inches, right? We're not going to fold them exactly at 3 and 6 inches. I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get there, but yeah, so I'll explain that in a minute. Anyway, so 9 inches, okay? And then you just want to take a very small little sliver off of the fold, so that you now have 2 pieces, okay? And then the next cut is going to be 6 inches, because these measure 6 inches high. Okay, So now we have 2 pieces. And then, so you wind up with these 2 and then this. Okay, so this is just from our 9-inch cut. All right, so what we're going to do is we need a pocket that I usually make like 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, this one is a little taller than that, but so about 2 3/4 wide. And then we also need another piece to make the windows. And then we're also going to need card to make the tags. Okay. So to make the pocket and the window piece, I'm cutting this just at, and of course my paper trimmer is going to act crazy now. Anyway, so I'm just making sure that that is at 2 3/4. Okay. And then this is going to be our windows. So since the tag is 6 inches tall, I'm going to cut this at 5 3/4, just so I have a little bit of a border. Okay, so this is the piece that we're going to punch holes out of. And then this is going to be the piece for our pocket. So I want the pocket 2 3/4 tall and 2 3/4 wide. So that's our square for that. And then this piece, we're going to wind up cutting. This is going to be for our tags. So, I mean, you could make small tags and, you know, use them like in the window pockets or whatever. But I'm just going to, just to keep it simple, I'm going to cut this down to 2 3/4. This is going to, oh no, sorry. I want these to be 2 1/2 because these are for our tags that have to fit in that pocket, right? So the tags need to be a little bit narrower than, they actually should probably be a little bit narrower than that. So I'm going to go actually 2 1/4. Sorry, guys. I told you I was still kind of getting this together. So yeah, 2 1/4 actually works really well. Okay. And that should fit in the pocket. So then I'm just going to kind of randomly cut this into 2 pieces. So I'm going to have a smaller tag and a taller tag. Okay. So this is all we need for the first multi-tag. And then we have this piece. So I'm going to cut the fold off of that one. So that's going to make this 2 pieces now. And then I'm going to trim it down. So this is going to be for the pocket and the window. So it's at 2 3/4 right now. Okay. I knew one of these actually worked out to be exactly right. So, so this one, we don't need to cut the length, but I do want to cut this one to 5 3/4 long. This is for the windows for the second one. And then 2 3/4 for the pocket. You have this little dip right there, so if you want to make your pocket just a tiny bit shorter and cut that off, you can. Okay. And then this is going to be tags for the second multi-tag. And so I'm just cutting these at, you know, wherever. It doesn't matter. However tall you want your tags to be. Okay. So we've got 2 sets now. Now, if you want to, you could collage the whole entire, you know, file folder ahead of time and not have to do each piece individually. I decided that I want to do them. I want to collage on these after I cut them because I want to collage them differently. I want to use different types of paper on different elements or different parts. So I didn't do that. It's a little bit more work to do that, you know, so if you don't really want to do that, you could just collage the whole entire thing and then cut it up like I'm showing you. So, oh boy. Okay, I hope this is making sense. Okay, so that's just a regular old run-of-the-mill file folder. And the green ones are a little bit different because you cut off that metal part, and so these wind up being a little bit shorter, okay? But, you know, it'll still work. It's just, you just have to cut things a little different, and your tags wind up being a little bit skinnier. So my first cut is the 9 inches again, and then I'm going to cut off the fold, okay? And then I'm going to cut to 6 inches. This is 2 pieces here. Okay, so now I have my card for 2 of the tags. So then you wind up with 2 of these that are the same, right? And then this one that's folded. So this I'm going to use one for tags on the first one and one for tags on the second one. Okay, so that's my first cut. And then tags for the second one. Okay, so I'm making 2 little piles over here. All right, and then I want to cut the fold off of this. And then these are actually pretty easy because you can just make 2 cuts. So then I want to make my pocket and my window piece. Okay, so I'm cutting this last piece to 5 3/4 because that's the height that I want the windows. And then the leftover winds up being the pockets for each one. Okay, so we basically like used the whole file folder and cut everything up so that they're usable for, you know, to make 2 of these little multi tags. This is my waste from the green file folder, except for the metal part that I cut off, you know, a long time ago. That's what I do a lot of times when I get those file folders home from the thrift store. I just cut all those metal things off because frankly they're harder to store with all that metal on them, and they don't stand up and they don't stack up right and all that. Okay, so that's the green ones. And then these, you know, these are going to be, I'm going to wind up with a little bit of excess because they're so long. This part, I do like to try to, I mean, you could make little notepads and stuff and use these to hold the little notepads together. They have those little hole punches. That's 2 hole punches. And those actually work perfect for these. So, you know, I mean, if you only had a few of these, you could probably think of uses for them, but I literally had like hundreds of them. So it's just, you know, I wind up throwing them away and I feel kind of bad about it, but you know, hey, that's life. So anyways, I do save as much as I can of this card. You know, I like to like make little mini tags and things like that. You know, so all these little pieces, they just go in a box. Okay, so again, our first cut, and this would work for like any legal size file folder. Okay, so the first cut is 9 inches, and then we're going to cut the little fold off, and then to 6 inches. Okay, so that's 2. And then we've got these 2 pieces and this folded one that's a little bit wider. So this is going to get cut. This is the narrower one. So this is going to get cut to 2.5 because this is going to be for my windows. Actually, it should be 2 3/4. So sorry, we'll use this one for the tags. I'm going to make this 2 1/4, and we can use this one for the tags. Okay, and then just cut kind of randomly into 2 pieces. And this is what we're going to make the tags on for the first set. And then 2 1/4 again on this other piece. And just kind of cut into 2 different lengths for tags for the second one. And then this piece, I'm going to cut the fold off of it. This is what I'm going to be making the windows and the pocket with. So it's got this doubled part right here that, you know, is actually kind of nice for the window, or excuse me, for the pocket. But I don't know if it's really wide enough. Yeah, it's not really wide enough, but that's okay. Anyways, sorry, just thinking out loud. Okay, so I want to cut this to 2 3/4 inches wide. And then for my windows, 5 3/4. And then, yeah, I think I am going to save that for the top of my pocket. So then I'm going to go 2 3/4 for this piece. Okay, so that's my windows and my pocket for the first one. And then cut this last piece to 2 3/4, and then 5 3/4 for the windows for the second one, and 2 3/4 for my pocket for the second one. Okay, so you know, you wind up with these pieces left over, little tiny bits of scrap, but you know, that's not bad. You could probably make cute little tags out of these too, and you know, put those in the pockets or maybe in the windows or something. And that's what I was thinking with these too. So anyway, that's not bad. Not much waste. Okay. And then what I want to do is just kind of show you how I score these, because it's not, like I said before, it's not exactly at 3 inches. You know, it has to be off just a little bit in order for it to fold up. If you cut these exactly at 3 inches, or fold them at 3 inches and 3 inches, you can't close it. It you know, it gets all bunched up right there in that fold. And so you have to have a little bit of space between this edge and that crease or that score or what, that fold. Okay, so that you have some space. So the first one though, I do at 3 inches. Okay, so score that one and then turn it around like that, so it's upside down. And then this one I'm going to do at 2 7/8. Okay, so this is the smaller side that's going to always go in the inside. So you wind up with actually a 1/4 inch gap right there, because we moved the score line over 1/8 of an inch, and it winds up actually giving us a 1/4 inch gap there, because that turned this section into 3 1/8. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. This section is wider than this section, and this section is narrower than that section. So none of these three are the same width now. Okay, so that's just how it has to work. Otherwise, the thing won't fold up. Okay, and then I just crease these down. So I like to crease these and score them and crease them, you know, whatever, burnish them before I do any collaging on these, because if you don't, then it winds up being difficult to fold them and stuff. So I like to do that before. Anyway, so that's kind of how those get scored. And then, you know, you don't necessarily have to cut the little corners, you know, but I kind of like it because I like it to look like a tag. So since these tags happen to be 3 inches wide, I've just decided to use that as a template. And so I'm just cutting my corners now, just to kind of help me when I'm working on these down the road, to make sure that I always have it oriented correctly. Like when I'm embellishing them and stuff, I want to make sure that I always keep the top at the top and the bottom at the bottom. Otherwise, this could get flipped around and your embellishments could wind up upside down and that kind of stuff. So I recommend cutting your notches now, just to make it easier down the road. Anyway, so that's that's kind of how that works. And then, so what I do, obviously, because I'm not going to just make one of these, I'm going to do all of them. So like if I'm going to try to use a dozen file folders, you know, that means I'm making 24 of these things. And so I'm going to do each process all the way through on each file folder. You know, so I'm doing all my scoring on all of them. And then, you know, I'll do all my collaging on all of them. And then I wind up with a stack of, you know, pieces that I'm working on, and they're all kind of at the same stage. So it just makes it, I don't know, it just makes it easier to not have all of the supplies that you need for the whole project on your desk all at the same time. You know, you only pull out what you're using at that moment and then put it away, pull out the other stuff, you know. Anyway, so then I just keep these pieces inside of each one, and I just stack these up, and those wind up being, you know, all together. So that's basically the first little stage. And then I think I'm going to keep this video short, and then I'll actually wind up breaking this up into shorter videos, and, you know, maybe like 15-minute videos as opposed to, you know, an hour. Okay, so that's kind of where we got to for the initial one. So I will continue with these. I've got a whole bunch of them that I'm working on, obviously, and just because I don't know how to do two of anything. And so when I come back in part 2, I will show you what I'm going to do as far as collaging and how I'm going to, you know, work with the different pieces. Okay. All right. And I will put links in the description to, I'll try to grab the links to those actual listings for the fussy cuts and the labels and stuff. I'll try to put all that stuff in the description. Sometimes it just gets weird when I try to copy links. So if nothing else, I'll just put the link to Tracie's Etsy shop in the description. So I know if you can navigate to her shop, you can, you know, you can find those kits. So anyway, okay, guys, love you. Bye for now. Oh, I guess this wound up being almost 30 minutes. Oh, well, I don't know how to look at the clock, I guess. Okay, bye.